Hello, this is Astrid again with part 3 of Introduction to Wicca. We'll let you know my kids are playing with the neighbor kid, and so my dogs are frantic because they're not in the backyard and they're not with them. So if you hear them pitter-patter in and out, my dog's wearing herself out right now, so just to let you know beginning. Okay, 13 Principles of Wicca. It's really wordy, there's a lot of words to it, so I'll try to narrow it down as best as I can. Okay. The first one, we practice rites to attune ourselves with the natural rhythm of life forces, marked by the phases of the moon and seasonal quarters and cross quarters. So pretty much, there's like phases of the moon, different Sabbats and stuff like that. Yeah, we can get into that later, but that's the first one. In other words, be in flow with, nature, kind of like how salmon go upstream, we kind of go with the river instead, so. Okay, number 2, we recognize our intelligence gives us a unique responsibility toward our environment. We seek to live in harmony with nature and ecological balance, offering fulfillment to life and consciousness within an evolutionary concept. In other words, be environmentally friendly. You can do it on a large scale or you can do it on a small scale. Like not littering or recycling or reusing, the 3 R's, all that kind of stuff. We acknowledge a depth of power far greater than is apparent to the average person, because it is far greater than ordinary. It is sometimes called supernatural, but we see it as laying within that which is naturally potential to all. In other words, we recognize and we realize there's more than just a physical realm, there's a spiritual realm as well. Number 4, we conceive the creative power in the universe and manifesting through the polarity as masculine and feminine, and that this creative power lives in all people and functions through the interaction of the masculine and feminine. We value neither above the other, knowing each is supportive of the other. We value sex as pleasure, as the symbol and embodiment of life, and one of those sources of energies used in magical practices and religious worship. Okay, this kind of goes into like sex magic. I have never done that. I don't know many people who do. I really have no commentary on that. Other than that, sex is not bad. It's part of human nature. It's part of life. So, yeah, take it as you will. Number 5, we recognize both outer worlds and inner or psychological worlds, sometimes known as the spiritual world, the collective unconscious, the inner planes, and so on. We see the interactive of these dimensions as basis for paranormal phenomena and magical exercises. We neglect neither dimension for the other, seeing both as necessary for our fulfillment. In other words, we realize there's other planes of existence, whatever you want to call it. We recognize it, and we can use that to our benefit, pretty much. Okay. We do not recognize any authoritarian hierarchy, but do honor those who teach, respect those who share greater knowledge and wisdom, and acknowledge those who have courageously given themselves in leadership. Pretty much those who kind of like leadership, we respect those who teach. We put a kind of like on a small pedestal, I guess you can say. It's a big deal, a big thing. Show great respect, like to the elders, the wise, the knowledgeable. Self-said. We see religion, magic, and wisdom in living as being united in the way one views the world and lives in it, and worldviews and philosophy of life that we identify as witchcraft, the Wiccan way. Pretty much the way we view things and how and why we do things, and whatever way we do it, it's the witchcraft, the Wiccan way. Yeah, whatever. Calling oneself witch does not make a witch, but neither does heredity itself, or the collecting of titles, degrees, and intentions. I don't know, my handwriting's messy. Witches seek to control the fears within themselves that makes life possible in order to live wisely and well, without harm to others and in harmony with nature. Pretty much we overcome our fears and insecurities, and just because you call yourself a witch or a Wiccan or whatever does not mean that you are. You kind of have to walk the path type of thing. And the way you're doing that is overcoming those fears and insecurities, like I have, like coming out the broom closet and becoming forth. I've always been, pushed and with my interest of wanting to do this. So yeah, I think I mentioned that before. Okay, we acknowledge that the affirmation of fulfillment of life and continuation of evolution and development of consciousness that gives meaning to the universe we know and our personal role within it. In other words, we're more than just a self, it's a universal thing. We all have a part in it, whatever part that may be. Okay. Because here's one for those, who are, okay. Our only animosity, the only thing we dislike about Christianity or towards any other religion or philosophy, way of life, is the extent that its institutions have claimed to be the only way and have sought to deny freedom to others and to suppress the ways of religions, practices, and beliefs, which I do agree with. That's the only thing I dislike about, anything extreme. It's the only way. It's not the only way. So that's the only problem that Wiccans are supposed to have. Of course, like I said, everyone's different. Everyone has their own thing. So, as American witches, we are not threatened by debates on the history of the craft, the origins of various terms, the legitimacy of various aspects of different traditions. We are concerned with our present and our future. Pretty much the past is the past. You can't do anything about it. It's good to learn from it, but concentrate on the now and the future, okay? Yeah, it's okay to apologize for something you did, whatever. But that's something you can do now in your present to help with your future and stuff. So, that's number 11. Number 12. For those who call it Satanism, those who think it's the devil worship, listen to this carefully. Listen. Okay, we do not accept the concept of absolute evil, nor do we worship any entity known as Satan or the devil, as defined by the Christian tradition. We do not seek power through the sufferings of others, nor do we accept the concept that personal benefit can be only derived by denial to another. In other words, we don't believe in Satan, we don't believe in the devil, we don't worship it, okay? Here's the history of that, okay? Christians and paganism, huge feud for centuries, okay? When Christians were trying to convert pagans, they were trying to say they're worshiping the devil by turning the green man, or like the god, or whatever, very different terms, whatever. He's supposed to have antlers, like a deer. Moose, big, yeah, he'd be kind of scary if I ran across him. He's a big dude with antlers. Whoa! Okay. But the Christians made the horns more bull-like, to kind of make it seem more, this term for it, I can't think of it. And so that was the devil. And that's how, that image came about. Trying to convert them, saying, yeah, worship the devil, because this is what the devil looks like, and that is your God, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, that's how that kind of originated. So no, it's not. And only that the green man, who's like, the pine tree, that kind of tree represents him. He likes to hang out and that kind of stuff. Here's something really cool I want to share with you. Okay, when I was a teenager, I started getting into this. The green man would appear in my dreams several times. It was really cool. And he wasn't scary at all, And yeah, so I thought that would be kind of neat to share with you. So I guess when I began, the green man and I connected. So that was really neat. Okay, and number 13, we acknowledge that we seek within nature for which is contributory to our health and well-being. In other words, we seek in nature for which is helps our health and well-being. In other words, you have to have a healthy mind, healthy physical body, healthy soul, the overall health and well-being. So that means exercising, eating right, that kind of thing, which makes sense. I don't care who you are or what you believe in. I think that is vitally important, taking care of yourself. So, yeah, that's kind of like, that's me going through the 13 principles in 10 minutes. Yeah, so that's pretty much the thing. Like I said, if you guys have questions or want to read it yourself, check out religionstolerance.org. It's really good. There's also a page on Facebook that's about religious tolerance. It's pretty good. Definitely check it out. I went through this fast because just in case I have any documentary I want to put out there. So my lasers are acting up, so my face and my eyes and everything itches. So, but yeah. So yeah, pretty much that's the basics of it. For those who didn't know much about it, I hope you guys learned something. And for those who are inquiring and wanting to lead the path, I hope I helped you out. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about and who's already been on the path for a while, please feel free to comment, Terry. I like to critique. I like when people critique me, so I can improve myself, you know, to kind of work on things, help things grow. But yeah, I get into like details about a few other things, mostly the ideals of something. Like I said, I strongly believe in love, so I'll probably end up talking about that. And it's gonna be a while before I do it, because I'm gonna research like different faiths and what they consider love, and some quotations that they have. So I kind of explain why that's important and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have notes everywhere, a little bit here, a little bit there. So, but yeah, like I said, feel free to commentary. I'm really excited that you guys are watching this. I definitely want to say thank you for all those who are supporting me, and those, you know, who are there beside me and helping me out with this. And it really means a lot to me. Like I said, I just came out of the broom closet hugely. And for those who don't know what it is, it's someone who follows an occult path who is become open about it. It can be difficult, and for some it's easy, you know. So I am pretty stoked, I guess. So yeah, I'll probably talk to you guys a little bit more. I'm not going to do spell stuff. I'm not going to do ritual stuff. I could probably touch on some of the stuff that you could use, like tools and all that kind of stuff, but mostly I'm going to talk about theories and perspectives and, like I said, the things that thread us together, you know, some of the common elements that I think just about anyone could agree with. And if not, I'm sorry you're that cold-hearted and that hateful. But yeah, okay, well, thank you again for watching, and once again, I'm Astrid. And feel free to comment, question, whatever. Even if it's stupid, let me know. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye.